I watched my students' expressions transform as the Lincoln Memorial came into view. Before today, these were just pictures in textbooks, whispered Emma, her eyes wide with wonder. After 15 years of classroom teaching, I'd grown frustrated with history's disconnect. Facts memorized, then forgotten after exams. But standing with my students at the foot of Lincoln's statue, something magical happened. They touched the cool marble, read the Gettysburg Address engraved on the wall, and suddenly, history breathed. It wasn't abstract anymore. It was real. That's when I discovered TourDCwithUS. Unlike generic tourist experiences, they crafted educational journeys that sparked genuine curiosity. My colleagues noticed too. My students talked about the Constitution for weeks after seeing the original document, Principal Martinez told me. Test scores improved, but more importantly, they cared. From the somber reflection at Arlington Cemetery to the gasps of amazement at the Air and Space Museum, these weren't just field trips. They were transformative experiences. What makes TourDCwithUS different? Their guides actually know how to engage young minds. They understand curriculum connections, and they handle the exhausting logistics so teachers can focus on teaching moments. One student summed it up perfectly boring anymore. Now I see why it matters. Isn't that what education should do? She almost canceled the class trip to Washington, D.C. Funding cuts meant Ms. Rodriguez's students, many who'd never left their neighborhood, would miss experiencing history firsthand. I refused to let them down, she recalls. That night, she discovered TourDCwithUS. Unlike other companies, they offered flexible payment plans, discounted rates for Title I schools, and curriculum integration that aligned perfectly with state standards. 3 months later, 27 students stood breathless at the Lincoln Memorial. I never understood why these places mattered until I was actually there, whispered Miguel, a student who'd never shown interest in history. The guided tour transformed theoretical textbook knowledge into vivid reality. Students traced their fingers along the Vietnam Veterans Memorial, debated policy in a mock Congress session, and explored interactive exhibits at the Smithsonian. The transformation continued after returning home. Test scores improved dramatically. 4 students joined local government internships. Several started a civic engagement club. They're different people now, says Ms. Rodriguez. They understand their place in America's story. The principal was so impressed she made Washington, D.C. trips mandatory for all students, using TourDCwithUS exclusively. Some lessons can't be taught in classrooms, Ms. Rodriguez explains. Sometimes you need to stand where history happened to truly understand its power.